this is the third in our series of hot seats, where we interview gurus and veterans in the industry about how they got into the industry and what they've learned and the challenges they face. And today I'm delighted to have Greg Clarke, who along with his wife Alison is the founder and owner of Collage Hair Group. And he's also the former president of the IHF, or the Irish Hairdressing Federation. And so Greg, I'm delighted to have you here and looking forward to chatting to you about a lot of stuff.
Thank you very much for the privilege, Ron.
So just to get started into it, Greg, we'd love to know a little bit about how you got into hairdressing. You know, where did the passion come from and how did it all start?
Well, I wasn't a natural hairdresser, and anybody that remembers the 80s probably was the last time when, I suppose when I say hairdressers looked like hairdressers, but you tend to, short hair wasn't something that was exclusive to men in a salon. Short hair was something that most of your average client came in. So there was a lot of fashion and trends changing, and I just loved the part of it, and a lot of friends of mine were hairdressers. I was working as a painter and decorator because in the first recession in the 80s jobs were hard to come by. I knew I wanted to work with my hands, so I picked up a brush and I was painting. And then a friend of mine said, would you not look at coming into hairdressing? I finished my apprenticeship as a painter, and the natural progression was go straight in. And from the day I went in, I just fell in love with it. Started with Peter Mark, not far from here, up in Mary Street. Had a tremendous education with him, had a great time. Was with him for about 18 years or 14 years as a manager. I graduated after about 18 months. Now I think we would commonly call that fast tracking. Back then it was called, Jesus, he's eager, you know. So I gave a lot to the job, and I think a lot of young people, if you want success, what you have to realise, it doesn't happen naturally. You have to work hard, and you never stop working. But if it's something you enjoy doing, it doesn't feel like work. You know. So that's like I come from not being a natural hairdresser.
So it wasn't with your family or anything beforehand?
No, my wife's family, nothing but hairdressers. And my family, I came from family of 3 girls, 1 boy. 3 girls, no hairdressers. And 1 boy is the hairdresser. But to me, if you looked at me going back in the 80s and said he was a painter and decorator, you would have said, nah, he's a hairdresser.
So when you were working in Peter Mark for how many years then?
I'd say roughly around 18.
You were there for 18 years. And so tell us a little bit about that. Like, where did you end up in Peter Mark at the end?
I started in Peter Mark in Mary Street. And then, as I said, I had a great manager at the time, Peter MacDonald, who sat me down and said, right, you're 21 years of age, you don't want to be a 23-year-old apprentice hairdresser. And I went, no, you're right. And he says, right, well, Greg, there's some courses over in the UK. Do you think you could get there? Are you going anywhere in your holidays? I said, well, the money I'm earning, no. And he says, can you get a flight and we can get you some courses? And to me, what attracted me with the courses was I was going to get paperwork, because back then there was no paper to say you were qualified as a hairdresser, and unfortunately still limited amount of it now. That's for another story for another day. But basically I'd done a lot of training, went back and forward, come back with diplomas, entered competitions, had reasonable success in competitions. I was forever the bridesmaid and never the bride. Like, so I never got a #1, but got a couple of close by. And then decided, when I met with Frank O'Keefe, where was the future, and I just felt it was in management and working in the salon, because when there's this lovely word they have in America of downtime, when there was downtime in the salon, I didn't want to have downtime, I wanted to be doing stuff, and management to me gave me the opportunity to always be busy. So I moved into qualified at 18 months, asked could I be a manager when I was probably in my 3rd year. I was told, well, we've never made an apprentice a manager. But we know you're interested. So when I graduated as a fully qualified stylist after 4 years, I moved into management in Northside Shopping Centre. And that was my hometown. It was where I grew up. And I spent 7 or 8 years there, and I really enjoyed it. And probably you get into a rut and you get comfortable. And then I decided then when my 3rd child was born, we need to move on, and Blanchardstown Shopping Centre was coming up, and I said, give us a crack at that. And nice enough for the guys, they said, right, well, off you go. So off I went out to Blanche, no M50s, we had to go back roads, it was only being built. And then I was only there a short time, and that was an eye-opener, because it prepared me for, just because your name is this on the door, it doesn't guarantee people are going to come in, because you still had to work hard, because there was no history in the salon. There was history in the, there was a history of a Peter Mark salon in the area, but we had to try and build a new history and a new If you look at what they're doing now, Peter Markle Style Club, we were trying to do that 20 years ago, and they seem to have perfected it now. You know what I mean? It was called Peter Markle Alternative Hair back then. So it was great to see that. But 3 months later, my former manager, Anna Mockler, that was in Mary Street, was deciding to move back to Kilkenny, and the lad said, look, Greg, would you be interested now? You're only here a couple of months, would you go back into Mary Street? So to me, it was full circle to go back to the salon that I originally started in and go in as the manager. It was great. And 4 years there, my wife said to me, you're not really happy? And I said, no, I don't really know. I'm getting to an age where do I go from here? And she said, well, I'm going to tell you. She says, before you're 40, you better decide we're opening our own salon or we're not. I'm not doing it in our 40s. So, right, that pushed it. A friend of mine told me that, and this is a little thing I'd like to put out to young hairdressers out there. If a senior person asks you to do them a favour on a Saturday night, stay back and blow dry the hair, and the rest are running out the door, do it. Because the girl who was selling their salon in Castleknock, I used to stay back and say, stay back and blow dry my hair, you get good experience with this. And I'd stay back and blow dry it, and eventually her salon's for sale. And I come in, and in her words, when the salon was up, I said, is there anybody else in? She said, yeah, there's other people, but now you're in, there's only you. Because she said, I know you've got business background, you're a nice guy, because you used to blow dry my hair, you understand it as a business, and I'm going to be a landlord. And I'm going to make sure I know that I'll get my rent out of you. You know? And I said, right, thanks very much for the seal of approval. She's still a landlord, right? She had 10 years in the salon, so she knew she had a good business to sell. And she wanted it to go to somebody because she owns the building. At that point? No, it was called Specifique.
Okay,
And we took it on, and the Collage name only came about when we wanted to get our own identity. We were there for a year, and I found some Dublin people struggle with the word Specifique. They call it specific. And so you're kind of going all your time going, no, it's specific. And one day I was going through the salon, and one of the girls was doing a project, and she'd put together a big collage of photographs of hair, and she was doing a style book, and she said, I'll put these in a frame, could we put it on the wall? And I went, yeah, it looks great, a collage. I went, great. Went in, clicked my phone, looked up the word collage in the dictionary, and it came up a collection of shapes and images put together in a background. And I said, right, we're Collage Hair Group, right, because we create shapes and images, and the background we create them in is the salon. So we didn't just pick a name, there was a little bit of something behind it.
Do you feel, first of all, that you're still learning all the time?
I never stopped learning.
So taking that on board, where do you find out stuff now?
I went on a seminar once, and it was the most enlightening 2 words I ever heard. And this person that was telling me, I held in great respect. And he says, I'm going to tell you 2 words that will change how you run your business. And I went, right way, pen and paper, right, here we go. And he dillied around it a bit, as good presenters will, and eventually got back and says, okay, now you're ready for the 2 words, and I'm waiting, and he goes, okay, shit happens. Oh, what? That's it? That's it? Shit happens? That's what he's going to tell me. And basically what he was saying is, look, and he gave me the example. He said, be prepared that once you're in business, things happen, you know they're going to happen. So somebody is going to hit you someday that they're going to open up their own business, because so did you. But did you think about you would like to maybe be in business with them? So did they know they could have approached you, maybe gone into business with you? So there you go, franchising and partnerships.
So just tell me, so you had Collage for how many years before you opened the second salon?
5 years, maybe.
5 years, right. So what was going through your mind? Why did you think, what were the things that were coming through your mind that made you want to open the second salon?
Your ego. Men have big egos, right?
Whereas your wife doesn't, Alison has no ego.
No, women are very more logical thinkers. Men are, and what makes a great partner, sometimes if there is that little bit of visionary, let's go, and then you have the one person go, oh, come back a bit, and probably, I never regret anything I do. You learn from it. But had I listened to Alison going back, we probably wouldn't have invested as much, and we might really not have opened the salon where we did. Because at the time where I gazumped, there was, you don't want to open a salon in the fastest growing village in Ireland, the second most desirable place for young professional people to live. It's only 15 minutes away from our existing salon. Sounded great when we were in this bubble of an economy booming out of control. And when the wheels came off, we ended up with all these young professionals with no jobs. And an area that suffered severely.
So you opened the new salon, and you kind of said a few reasons why it didn't work out. do you think, like now having a good few more years past it, was it the economy really that was the problem?
The economy and the location.
Yeah.
That a village ended up with, had 2 salons, and within the boom ended up with another 3 to 4 salons.
Okay, yeah.
And then
it didn't really need.
And then so it was too much in an area, and we were holding our own. We were actually coming to the top, you know what I mean, and we were pitching well, and you know, with some really seriously good team members, and things were going. But once the wheels come off, and everybody, it became discount mania. And I said, you know what, I said, you can keep banging away at something, and if it's not working, you can end up getting in serious bad health or affect either me or wife or your family. And I said that sometimes you have to know when it's right to pull the plug. And that doesn't mean you're pulling the plug and admitting I'm a failure, because we had success and we're there. It just means regrouping. And some of the most successful people in business, the reason successful is
go back one step.
You know when to step back to come forward again.
Yeah.
You know, and I just felt, it was the right time.
So would you do it again, having learned, like you've learned so much?
Yeah, we're working. Yeah, well, like within the last 3 years, as I said to you, we're 2 brilliant. Like people within our team know that the chances are Collage Hair Group will open another salon, and they will have an opportunity to maybe fly. You know, so like there's a couple of people that work for me. I would envision them someday having their own salon, and I would probably like to be in business with them.
So thanks a million, Greg, for that amazing insights on the industry. And what we'd like to ask everyone out there who's watching this video is, please send in your questions for Greg. He's very kindly going to answer a load of them on our blog. And for the 5 top questions we get, we've got this book, The Little Book of Client Retention, which is a fantastic book on retaining clients in salons. And we've got 5 of those to give away for the 5 best questions we get.